Hi, today I'm telling about a movie. Things Heard and Seen is a 2021 American horror thriller film. It was released on April 29, 2021, by Netflix. The movie starts with, in 1979, Catherine Clare, an art restorer, lives in Manhattan with her husband George and daughter Franny. When George lands a job teaching art history at a college, the family moves into a large farmhouse in upstate New York. Catherine, who suffers from bulimia, feels isolated in the house. She finds an old Bible containing a family tree of the previous owners, the Schmidts. Some of the names are scratched out and marked, "Damned." She senses a spirit and sees strange lights leading her to an antique ring, which she begins wearing. Franny sees a female spirit in her room and insists on sleeping with her parents. Catherine employs brothers Eddie and Cole Lux as handyman and babysitter while George starts an affair with Eddie's girlfriend Willis. George's colleague Justine Sokolov invites him and Catherine to dinner. She and Catherine become friends. On the way home, George and Catherine fight, but he later apologizes and declares his love. George invites Floyd De Beers, the head of the art history department, to his home. Floyd also feels the presence of a soul. He assures Catherine that the spirit is benevolent and offers to hold a séance. George and Catherine throw a party and invite neighbors and George's colleagues. During the party, Catherine finds out the previous owners, who died in a murder-suicide, were Eddie and Cole's parents, and that her ring belonged to their mother Ella. Afterwards, Catherine confronts George about the house's violent history. As they argue, a radio begins playing, only stopping when George smashes it. Catherine asks George to take Franny to his parents' house. While George is gone, Catherine and Floyd hold a séance at which the ghost of Ella is summoned. Floyd tells Catherine that there is another spirit in the house and that she should be careful until it is revealed. Catherine later discovers George's affair with Willis. On a class trip, Justine overhears a conversation between George and his dissertation advisor, who asks how he was hired without a letter of recommendation. The next day, Floyd confronts George, who admits to forging a recommendation. At a family dinner, Catherine learns that the paintings George claimed were his work were actually painted by his cousin, who drowned in a boating accident. Her trust shattered, Catherine begins an affair with Eddie. On a boat ride, George fails to dissuade Floyd from reporting him. Later, a thoroughly soaked George returns to campus, where Justine confronts him about his affair with Willis. George follows her car and runs her off the road, putting her into a coma. Later, Catherine learns of Floyd's death and Justine's accident. In George's classroom, a mystical painting of death and a Christian cross from a book that Floyd gave him is projected on a screen. George didn't put it there and can't make it go away, which infuriates him and sends him running from the class. Back home, Catherine prepares to leave with Franny. When George finds out about her plan, he drugs her and murders her with an axe. In the morning, Cole comes to babysit, finding instructions from George not to disturb Catherine as she is ill. George returns home from campus, where he has been given Floyd's office and position, and pretends to discover Catherine's body. The police suspect he is responsible for her death but have no proof, so they release him. He takes Franny to his parents' home in Connecticut. Catherine's soul joins forces with Ella's. They awaken Justine and show her what George did. Justine speaks to the police. To avoid being arrested, George tries to escape on his deceased cousin's boat. A storm arrives and George's boat disappears in flames, a scene that resembles the painting seen earlier. However, the cross in this painting is upside down, indicating that George is damned. If you find this video useful, then subscribe and share to your friends and press the bell button. Thanks for watching.